I'm here today with Terence Williams of Beast Behavior. He's a former Laney High School standout, one of the all-time leading rushers for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons back in the, I don't want to say it, Terence, late 90s, early 2000s. It's been a while, but even though you may be older or at least above some of the class, what you're doing right now keeps you young and helps a lot of young athletes, strive to be better people on and off the field, helping helping young athletes be mentally, physically stronger. But let's go back to your college football career and some of the things that led up to what you're doing right now. What kind of inspired this whole beast behavior idea and what you're doing with elite training across the Wilmington area?
Well, I'm gonna go back further than my college days. As a kid, I'm talking like 6, 7 years old. Always had dreams and aspirations to take it to the next level, and not just take it to the next level as far as going playing football for Pop Warner or high school or college. I always wanted to go to the National Football League, NFL, so we call it. Just like every kid's dream. I grew up looking up to Bo Jackson and Walter Payton, how I became a Chicago Bears fan. The Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas's, and even Jerry Rice's and Joe Montana's. We looked up to those guys playing Tecmo Bowl and everything. And when you see these guys on television and see them on a video game, as a kid at 6, 7 years old, you think like, wow, I know I could do that, but at the same time, it's like a long stretch. It's a long stretch. You could never, you can have dreams of playing football or playing national football, but just watching these guys as a kid is somewhat in your mind unrealistic, but it's something in you that's telling you it is realistic. And leading up to now, that's what I teach my kids, anybody I train. You can do anything you want to do. I've been to college. I never got a chance to. I had a full scholarship to college, and I played football in college. I had a somewhat of a remarkable career, well respected in the collegiate era. But I never. I always tell my athletes you could go further than me. I was somewhat good. And not just bragging, but that's what people say about me. You was a great running back, but I didn't even prepare myself well enough to what I call exceed greatness. Did I exceed greatness? Yes, but did I have somebody there to train me? Train me how to run, train me how to the right technique to running, coordination, balance, footwork, agility. I didn't have that one person there for me to help me with that kind of stuff. I had coaches who told me it was important, but they didn't really have time to sit there and explain every single move, every single thing that would help me take my athleticism to the next level. Because they have a whole team of individuals that they have to coach, and coach the game of football. So they don't have time to do all the tedious things.
Specialized training has really, picked up over the last, 10 or so years since you kind of got out of college. Some of those things you mentioned, body control, speed, quickness, agility, these are all things that you possessed while you were a college running back. And even though you might have not eclipsed that great elite level to maybe be picked up in the NFL, those are things that guided you to a successful college career, hung up some big numbers over at Wake Forest. With that must have led you to, wanting to not only help other individuals, but you had a pretty good package of, exercises, workout material that, you could show some of these younger kids that this is the type of stuff you need to do in order to hit that elite level.
Right, absolutely. And like I mentioned before, I mentioned that it wasn't that one individual that can individually train me or whatnot, but I had some coaches in my life who actually knew about this stuff, but they didn't really have time to sit down and look, Terence, I'm gonna pull you to the side and work with you on this, work with you on that. They didn't have time to do that, and that wasn't their job anyway. They had to do it collectively. Coach Reeves, he's my college strength coach and speed and strength coach, and he's taught me a lot. He taught me a whole lot. Matter of fact, a lot of things that I'm doing now, I learned from him. And Coach Walters, even back in high school, he told me how important it was. He used to say all the time, man, you have the best feet I've ever had, I've seen in my life. Your footwork this, footwork that, and I'm like, yeah, I know footwork is important, but he really emphasized on footwork. He always said I had good feet, and he fell in love with my good feet on the football field. And that it's like a fad now as far as footwork, doing ladder drills and things of that sort these days. And like you mentioned, the last 10 years, that's when the whole sports athletic training has picked up. And all those fatty, I think, is a good thing. I think it's important to focus on different aspects of training. And a footwork specialist is what I refer to myself as. And the reason being is because naturally, I always had good feet. Not to mention, I always had to work on my feet as well. So I had to do extra footwork, ladder drills, and extra speed work, to help my feet advance and take it to the next level. Because in my mind, you'll never be perfect. So although Coach Walters used to brag on how good my footwork is, I will never be a perfect footwork specialist. I always have to work on my craft. Even as a trainer, I always have to work on my craft. Just yesterday, I came out here and demonstrated some of the drills that I put my clientele through. The reason being is because I have to practice what I preach. So if I can't do it, I can't teach it. So
Why is footwork so important, not only on the football field, but for athletes competing in other sports?
Footwork is important, man, because with footwork, it's not just your feet. It's everything that correlates as far as syncing your arms with your legs, keeping good balance, keeping a good base, remaining on the balls of your feet. It's not just going through a speed ladder. Most kids, when I first start training them, the initial thing that I do is I have them, it's like an assessment, so to speak. I have them run through the speed ladder. I said, go through the speed ladder. And they'll go through it and skip like 3 boxes. When I demonstrated beforehand, each foot was in every single box. And now I explain to them after they do that, and I say, look, I understand this is the way you used to do a speed ladder drill, but let me show you how to do it properly. Leading with the right foot, standing on the balls of your feet, sinking your arms and spreading your fingers as you do so, lowering your hips, things that's going to pretty much simulate into a real game time situation. You never see a sport, especially a field sport like football, lacrosse, or softball, baseball. You never see a sport where you're standing that high, unless you jump in baseball, unless you're jumping up for a pop fly. You're always low. You have a good base. You have sink hips, and you're ready, and you stand on the balls of your feet. You're never in your heels. So I explain these things to my athletes. It's not just ordinary training. You coming out here. You're not just coming out here to get sweaty, to go home and tell your mom and your dad, hey, I went out there and I ran 10,000 sprints with Coach T today, and I'm tired. I'm never going back. Or I am going back because I like the way he maybe run 10,000 sprints. Yeah, I'm not just make you run 10,000 sprints. I'm gonna make you run 10 sprints the proper way. Remaining on the balls of your feet, sinking your legs with your arms. It's not just ordinary training. It's a more technical based training, because I really want to take these athletes to another level. I really want to take the athleticism to another level. We talk about Michael Jordan all the time. I'm looking for that next Michael Jordan. And when I say Michael Jordan, I'm not saying just a basketball player. I'm saying his name ring bells. His name ring bells around here. You from where Michael Jordan's from? Wilmington, North Carolina. Yeah, that's fine, but who's that next kid? Who's that next athlete? I don't care if you're a softball player, baseball player, football player, basketball player. I don't care. I want to take you to the next level. I'm trying to get you to college. If you're in 5th grade, I'm trying to, get you prepared for middle school ball. If you're in middle school, I'm trying to get you prepared for high school ball. If you're in high school, it's time to go to college. I'm not just here to train. It's not just about the monetary givings or receivings. You know, it's all about really getting these kids, getting these kids to the next level. You know, I have a passion for this thing, man. I love it, and I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here doing this forever. You know, until I'm like 103 years old, if I get to live that long.
You took the word out of my mouth. I guess passion is something that obviously you're exuding right now, and what you do each and every day, helping these young athletes strive to be better. But with that, also comes you having to get out there and begin to brand what you do. And I see it on your left chest area there, beast behavior.
Yes.
That is something that you're coining, and I see all over social media using that term, and that's your brand, beast behavior. So what went behind establishing that here in the community?
Yeah, well, beast behavior. About 2.5 years ago, when I first started. First off, I'm gonna say this: I always knew I wanted to be a entrepreneur. I always wanted to be in a part of the entrepreneurship situation. But about 2.5 years ago, I have a friend. He's my barber. He's like, I call him my big brother. We known each other forever. Cedron Emerson, aka Turtle. We were talking one day, and he was like, man, my son Randall is he's at Harvard now, which I already knew. But he was like, he's at Harvard, and this is last year, man. In the summer, do you want to take him out to the field and just show him some things, some footwork drills, yada yada yada? I said, yeah, man, I'll do that. So I ended up doing so, and we went to Rice Beach Park, and did a few things. And ironically, it was this kid walking with his girlfriend, huge kid, man, and we was like, man, can you record Randall doing these footwork drills while I throw him the ball? He's like, yeah, I'll do that, man. So he did so. We captured it, documented on camera, and that kid that was walking with his girlfriend, he actually went to Carolina, and him and Randall somehow knew each other. And Randall was like, well, I'm going to Western Carolina next year, and so they talked or whatever. So after we finished doing the training, about an hour, we left. I put it on Facebook just for Randall's sake, just to show everybody what Randall was doing. He's out here working, you know what I mean? I was trying to use that for inspiration to other kids. Like, if they see Randall doing it, then, they want to do it somehow, it's like a positive influence. So once I did that, I got some feedback that I didn't know I was going to get. From parents, from other athletes, from coaches. They were like, wow, you're a trainer now? And my response was no, because I wasn't. I was just out there helping Randall with some footwork drills. And back then, when I did the footwork drills with him, it wasn't like a more technical base situation like it is now. Like my training is now. Like I said, I try to learn every day to create and be innovative of new drills and everything. So that was sort of like a basic training, so to speak. So once I did that, put it on Facebook, documented, got the feedback. It was a chain reaction, like a snowball effect. Then I have another parent calling me, hey, can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? So it got to the point where I had to sit myself down and think, like, wow, I could really use this as motivation to create my own business, my own company, because I have a passion for this. And they say you always, if you work somewhere and you have a passion for it and you love doing it, it's not work, and that's how I felt with that situation. So I pretty much transitioned from there to the beast behavior, athletic training, and from there it was a spin-off with beast behavior athletic apparel, which correlate with the business. Beast behavior is the umbrella, the huge umbrella, or the head, and then under that umbrella, under that head, you have the athletic training and you have the athletic apparel. Same company, but different avenues, so to speak. So beast behavior apparel, you don't necessarily have to train with me to purchase beast behavior apparel or to wear beast behavior apparel. I look at it as a Nike brand or Under Armour brand. You have Nike trainers, you have Under Armour trainers, you have Adidas trainers, but you also have the apparel as well that everybody knows. So hopefully, the apparel will be as popular as the actual training brand one day. That's the goal.
About how many athletes are you currently training, or have you trained in these last couple of years?
Well, in the training business, man, it could be an inconsistent thing sometimes. So you have some to come, you have some to go. But like I tell parents all the time, like I mentioned, I want to take your kid to the next level. So if he or she, if their hearts are in it, then I will let the parents know, like, look, their heart's not in it. Not saying they're a bad player, not saying they're a good player, but their heart's just not in it. I don't want to waste your money, and most importantly, I don't want to waste your time. I would love to be here and train anybody. I don't care, how old you are, how young you are. Like if you're ready, meaning in the heart, I'm ready to train. I don't care if you're 4 or 5 years old. So with that being said, you ask, how many people are training right now? I don't know the number offhand. I just want to throw a number out there, but because I have a lot that's in college right now that come home and they train with me when they're on their break or whatnot. Terry Caldwell, he's at Ole Miss. I have Ronnie Beatty, he's in school. Bert Estes, Randall, who actually helped me start the whole beast behavior thing. Randall Emerson.
So you're talking about dozens of athletes when you're at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's dozens, man. Like it's a lot.
Well, wrapping up the conversation, how do people get involved in beast behavior, or better yet, go, even if they're not into training, go into the apparel side of things? How do they purchase some of your gear, or look for some of the gear that you have for sale?
Yeah, great question, Joe Cass. The website's not up yet. Hopefully before the holidays, Christmas holidays, the website will be up, God willing. But as of right now, you can email me or email us, beastbehavior12@gmail.com. That's beastbehavior12 12. I'm sorry, beastbehavior12@gmail.com. Beastbehavior12 at gmail.com. So email us. Also, you can check us out on Instagram, beast.behavior, and I have other accounts on Instagram, beast behavior apparel, and also my individual Instagram account is T_will_train_, and also Facebook. Also hit us up on Facebook, Tarence S. Williams, or you could go to the Beast Behavior page as well. But again, the website is not up yet, but hopefully before the holidays it'll be up, and that'll make things more convenient for everyone to order.
A name that many sports fans here in Wilmington may have not heard in a while since his days at Wake Forest and running for Laney High School, but doing some big things here in the Port City. Terence Williams of Beast Behavior Training and Apparel, continuing to help young athletes strive to be better in what they do, both on and off the field. Terence, thanks for the time today.
I appreciate everything, Joe Cass, man. Thank you.